So when I was school chaplain in Mitchelstown, I was giving a talk to the girls as a presentation in secondary school. So all the girls were sitting there listening more or less attentively. And then I got this knock on the door, and in came 3 girls who said, we're doing an ecology project. Can we talk to the class for a second? I said, sure. So I went round and sat at the back, and they came in and they said, hi girls, so we're going to show you how to make a water filter. So you get like a 7-Up bottle, 2-litre bottle, and you cut the top off it, and then you put the top back into it to create a kind of a funnel type thing. And then you put in large grit, so big as your kind of top thumb knuckle if you've got normal size hands. Then slightly smaller stones, and then sand, and then clay, right? And then when you pour in your water, then this is a natural filtration device, and then your water comes out drinkable. So then they got a bottle of water, and they poured it in, and what came out was something akin to sewage. So it was hilarious, and the class reacted accordingly. So what we learned that day was that if you put clean water into a filtration device, it comes out like mud. But it did get me thinking. One of the saints, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Saint Francis de Sales. He says something which sounds really obvious. So a box that is already full, I think he uses the example of pepper. A box that is already full of something cannot be filled with something else. So if a box is already full of pepper, you can't put anything else into it. If a box is full of stones, you can't put anything else into it, right? Because it's already full. And that got me thinking about us and our minds and our hearts, and especially with phones now and all that. We can make ourselves very, very busy. And isn't it interesting that with all this extra technology, we don't seem to have any more free time, or do we? I don't think we do. I don't know. I think it actually it eliminates some problems. I mean, you can now actually shop in China in the comfort of your own sofa. Wish, I believe it's called. And it might get sent to you, or Amazon. I mean, if it's for something a little more close to home. You can shop for a TV, before, it was, remember, some of you might remember this, when buying a TV or something like that, it was a weekend event, right? You'd have to plan going to Cork or Dublin. For us, it was either or. We're kind of in Tipperary, so we're in the middle. So, yeah, you have to plan going to Dublin, right? So who's gonna make the sandwiches, right? And you get the tartan blanket, right? And the flask of tea, right? And then we have to go through Colahill and Monastreven and all those places that took 15 hours to get through if there was any traffic at all. So you eventually made it to Dublin, exhausted, wrecked, hungry, tired, and needing the bathroom, something serious, because there were no. All right, so you get to Dublin, and then Mom, handbags. No, Mom, we're here to buy TV. I know, but handbags. So she'd go into the handbag department, and myself and my dad, we'd find the bed department and just sit on them. And you see Mom go. Such were the January sales. Oh, don't get me started. That's another homily altogether. But yeah, so if we're already full, if our heads are already stuffed full, then there's no room for anything. But it also means there's no room for God. There's no room then to actually kind of deepen in your faith, because you're already stuffed. So if your head is already just so busy with everything, something good and spiritual and nourishing is presented to you, and you go, yeah, that's nice, yeah. But there just isn't room for it. Like, there just isn't time to digest it and assimilate it and chew on it and let it become part of you, and let it actually change the way you live, because there just isn't room. And that can happen to all of us. That can happen to all of us, where, especially, I suppose, with this kind of culture that we have now, where if someone messages you and you don't message them instantaneously, then you're obviously ghosting them. See how I know all these words? So proud of myself. If you don't message immediately, you somehow aren't their friend. No, I actually have what's known as a life, which means there are things to do. And I don't use my phone at the table, and I don't use my phone, where possible, after 10 o'clock. Otherwise, I'll be up all night. So, yeah, I'll text you back in the morning. I'll still be there, and so will you. All shall be well. But just this idea that if you don't get an instant gratification, instant answer, instant anything, then somehow you're not good enough. It's a crazy kind of a world out there. But that's why in this busyness, it is absolutely essential to carve out some time dedicated to God and to God alone, and to have really a kind of a no compromise with that. Otherwise, it will not happen. It won't happen. If we don't say very, very concretely a certain time of the day or a certain hour during the week or whatever it may be, if I do not say this belongs to the Lord, you will, I think, find, practically speaking, that nothing will actually belong to the Lord, because there won't be time. Your time will get absorbed and will evaporate into something else, because there's just so much else going on. And especially now with the access that we have to entertainment, you can be busy, but when you're not busy, you're busy entertaining yourself. But it's all busyness. I'm busy watching Netflix for hours. So the day just disappears, the week just disappears, the month just disappears, and my goodness, I haven't actually prayed. So with such easy access to entertainment and to education as well, we've got to carve out some time which belongs to the Lord alone. If our heads are already full, if our days are already full, if our lives are already full, well then simply God will not have any room. End of story. There's no point kind of fooling ourselves. God won't have room. So how long do you think we can go on without God? And as the world gets a bit more and more confused, and even as we heard in our gospel, just darker, as it gets darker and darker out there, how long do we think we can last before that starts to affect us without God? How long? I mean, who am I in front of this tsunami of everything coming, this tsunami of sinfulness and godlessness, and like, I'm not condemning everyone out there, but like it's not a very God-friendly world out there, you know. Just try and post something God-friendly on Facebook and watch the reaction. So it's, how long can we stand? Well, without God's help, you're just a twig. With God's help, that's some fairly good backup right there. So very simply, we must decide, this part of my day belongs to the Lord. And if we do that, some days it'll be great. Some days you'll actually look forward to it. Some days it'll drag, because you're like, oh gee, I have so many things to do. Yeah, and you'll have things to do tomorrow as well. Sometimes things don't get done. Welcome to the real world. But we cannot always put prayer on the long finger, presuming that if everything else gets done, we'll be okay. Prayer must be a priority. It must be a priority. I was just thinking this morning about these readings, and if these kind of things have been prophesied, you know, like the end of times or the end of the world, and the Lord's second coming and all of that, and then how am I supposed to live? And you might have heard of the prophet Micah. He writes these beautiful words which are often quoted. And he says, how does the Lord want us to live? Do justice, love kindness, and walk humbly with your God. Do justice, and when we say justice, that means give to each his due, which means give to the other person what they're due, and their due love, their due respect, their due, food, but yeah, that's fairly obvious, but they're due some part of me, yeah? What's God due? Well, God is due everything. At least 5 minutes of my day, 10 minutes of my day, half an hour of my day. He's due at least that. Do justice, love kindness, and walk humbly with our God. And so we ask the Lord today to renew each one of us, to renew our daily program, our weekly program, that we will carve out some time to make room for him, because a box full of stones can't be filled with anything else. Amen. So dear brothers and sisters, thank you so much for joining us for this homily via YouTube, via our live stream, or via the various podcasts. Thank you so much for being part of our extended family, wherever you may be. If these have helped you in some way, if they've blessed you, if they've helped you in your faith in some way, in order to facilitate our mission and encourage our mission, allow our mission to continue, you might consider maybe donating towards Holy Family Mission, towards our formation of our young people here in a place near Clonmel, in County Tipperary in Ireland. So if you wish, you can do so through our website, holyfamilymission.ie. and there's a donate tab there, and we greatly appreciate any help that you can give us. Obviously, we'd be delighted for your prayers as well. Please do pray for us. This is not just a battle against flesh and blood, but also obviously we're engaged in a whole spiritual battle here as well. So we need your help on the spiritual front as well as on the material front in order to allow our mission to continue. So thank you so much for your generosity and for your support, and be assured of our prayers, especially on Wednesday when we offer our Mass and our prayers for all of our friends and benefactors. So God bless you, and we'll hopefully see you or hear you on a future podcast or homily. God bless.